Hello everyone, and welcome to the lecture on Company Types Overview. So in this lecture, we're going to give a brief overview of things you can expect from various company types and the size of companies. In this lecture, we're just going to cover what Big Four companies are like and what that term actually means, medium-sized companies, and then startups, which we're going to divide into startups that are small, about 1 to 15 employees, and then well-funded startups. Okay, so first off, what does the term Big Four mean? So Big Four is just a collective term for the top 4 large public tech companies, and there's actually more than 4 of them, but the famous ones that are usually grouped together are Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, and Google/Alphabet. So when someone's referring to the Big Four, they usually mean some of these type of companies. So what do we know about the Big Four? Well, the culture can actually vary greatly between all of them. So you should check out Glassdoor reviews for specific information on each of them, since the culture at Amazon can be really different between the culture of Microsoft or Google or Facebook. We also know that they recruit heavily from the top 5 to 10 universities, based on the US News rankings. Since these are large public tech companies, they usually have some sort of strong management structure in place and some sort of formal onboarding process for new employees. You should also take into account that decisions at the company level need to take shareholders into account, since they're large public companies. Now, there are exceptions, such as Amazon, who has basically, instead of focusing on profits, have put a lot of their revenue back into the company. One last thing, you should also note that they have a huge amount of applicants, so networking is the key to getting a job at a Big Four company. Up next are medium-sized companies. So these can vary greatly, but they're usually local companies, and they may have a few satellite offices. There also may be a stronger focus on profitability, since if they're already a medium-sized company and don't have any funding since they're not a startup, they need to focus on profitability in order to keep the bills paid. Management structure can possibly be more informal. You have to try to ask about this during your interview, and we'll touch more on medium-sized companies in general later on in this course. And then startups. So focusing on small startups, the ones that have between 1 to 15 employees, you should note they usually offer lower salaries but higher equity. And you should also keep in mind the high probability of failure. About 90% of these startups fail within the first 4 years. Equity can also be a complicated subject, so you should check out this link right here, stockoptioncouncil.com, and just Google around so you can really understand what an equity percentage means and the type of stocks that there are available to you. The pros of a startup at this level is you're going to learn a lot, but you're also going to have to work a lot. And it's important to understand that people and the early hires are key at this stage. So if you're interviewing at this type of company that's still small, you should really make sure that you get along with everyone you interview with. So the other type of startup are the well-funded startups. These are the type of companies that you've heard that have had huge funding rounds, such as Uber or Lyft, those kind of companies. So salaries at these well-funded startups can be comparable to Big Four large public tech companies, but you should note that equity at this stage can be pretty complicated given the large amount of funding rounds. So keep that in mind and really do your research to understand what an offer of equity really means. For a good list of these type of companies, you can check out breakoutlist.com, and you should keep in mind that funding doesn't guarantee success. Alright, so in conclusion, always research the companies beforehand, and you should really be thinking about your work-life balance and what your long-term career goals are, and what type of company is right for you. So we're going to touch on this topic again later on in this course, so this was just a brief overview. Up next, we're going to get a brief overview of the various job types in programming. Okay, thanks everyone, and I'll see you at the next lecture.